Hey, good afternoon, everyone. We got some requests to get some more pictures and more information on this clubhouse, so I figured I'd go ahead and shoot a video tour of it. Um, Basically, how this came to be was we had, $1,400–1,500 playset from one of the big box stores, and after a couple years, the quality, the lack of quality, I'll say, became very apparent. The very thin boards, almost particle boards practically, that they used were coming apart. Felt like you were going to walk through one of the planks every time you took a step on it. And so I just took out a pencil and paper and just started coming up with some designs, and this is kind of what happened. So just to give you some measurements, the clubhouse is about around 45 feet long. If you don't include the slides, it's 6 feet wide, and from top to bottom, if you count the peak there of the clubhouse itself, it's about 16 to 17 feet. So let's take a closer look. Pretty much every board except for the planking, which is 5 1/4, that's standard floor planking, is 2 by something. 2 by 4, 2 by 6, 2 by 8. So this is really sturdy, sturdy enough for adults. This is deck quality construction here. So you can have a whole bunch of kids, even adults up here. You're not going to have any issues. Here's our tunnel, right? That spans about 12.5 feet. It is properly shingled like any house would be. So it's got the plywood, and then it's got the black matting, and then the shingles themselves. If we take a look inside here, you can see we've got your standard 2x4 framing and 2x4 rafters. We have 2 single pane windows. They don't open, but it allows for light to come into the tunnel. We'll come back over here. We have our spiral slide. This is very awesome and very sturdy too. So let's take a quick ride down so we can get to the other parts of the clubhouse. There we go. Now I'm 6'1", so that can tell you that most people should be able to go down that slide. It's awesome. So let's take a look at the swings. I didn't buy it as a kit. Basically, I kind of bought them in pieces. The actual seats, they can withstand something like 600–700 pounds. It's pretty outrageous. And then I bought the chains by themselves, heavy duty chains, and then you have the brackets up here. These are extremely heavy duty, can support a lot of weight. So I can swing on this thing as high as I can go, and there is no sway because you've got support on this end here, and obviously you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 4x4s that are cemented into the ground, so it gives good support. You got a couple more 4x4s here with an A-frame in the middle, and that is cemented down pretty deep too. And then you've got the clubhouse here. The clubhouse is 6 by 6 feet, and it is supported by 6 by 6. This is all pressure treated lumber, by the way, too. So I did use regular stud lumber inside where you wouldn't expect any water. If we kind of take a look underneath, you can see that we've got some brace framing that also helps support the weight of this clubhouse. Right here is actually a trap door that opens up, and I'll show you guys when we actually get inside too. You can see the hammock. My wife claimed part of the play set for her own. That's fine. This is our rock climbing wall. You can see that this is actually stained. We are in the process of staining this clubhouse, so it'll be done by the time we're ready to head on out. This paneling here, this is hardy board. Hardy board is amazing stuff. It is weather resistant, insect resistant, pretty much everything resistant. It's very, very expensive, very heavy too. So when I built this clubhouse, I wanted it to not only withstand, you know, a party of adults on there, but I wanted it to, you know, last. I didn't want it to fall apart. So you can see we've taken, you know, extra steps here. I'm actually putting, I've put soffits on. You can see underneath the roof trim there. And I am in the process of finishing up fascia to go all the way around that trim, so that'll be done. And we've already taken and painted around the windows, and those are caulked and sealed. However, we are going to leave the hardy board paneling unpainted, so that the new owners, hopefully you, can paint it whatever color that your family likes, right? So let's come around here. I'm not brave enough to record and try to go up the rock climbing wall at the same time, so we're going to take option number 3 here, which is our step ladder. You can see, very sturdy as well. I weigh 175 pounds, you know, and this doesn't bow or buckle at all. Here's the bridge, or the catwalk. You know, we've spent a lot of time with the sander, so you shouldn't have to worry about you know, any splinters or anything. We've got you know, some musical instruments here that depending on the age of your child would really enjoy. One other thing I want to point out, I'm not a fan of nailing. I believe if you want a good quality wood construction, you should do it with screws. So 99% of this clubhouse is held together with wood deck screws. So just something to note. Here's the inside. Let's go ahead and come on in. Obviously you can see here that we've got our standard 2x2 or 2x4 framing. This is pretty much the code that you would find in a normal house. So, you know, you can take and slap up some drywall and paint it if you'd like, to give it a little bit more of a personal touch. You got your 2x6 rafters, and on this roof you can see that little bit of a crack there. That's a roof vent. So this particular clubhouse is vented from the top, so try to keep the heat down. We've got kind of a pull down window here, and it is screened, and it's sealed and caulked all the way around. And this window does open nice and easy. See, that's how easy it is. That's how it just comes right back down. Of course, you can use these latches up here to secure it. This is screened as well. You know, the clubhouse that I had before, it had a problem with black widows, you know, underneath, because it was really low to the ground. And when I came up with the design for this clubhouse, I wanted it completely off the ground. I wanted it to be insect free, because no kid wants to play around on a clubhouse that's just, you know, an infestation, right? So, you know, one of the things I'm going to do before we wrap this up and sell the house, I am going to put some flaps on the very end here, kind of like what you see at a grocery store for a walk-in freezer. So the flaps will stay in place if no one's going through it, but they're easy to go through. That'll keep insects out. And over here, I am going to take and build a door for this. And then in combination with, you know, having your soffits. I'm sorry, I think I've completely blinded you. Let me come over here with the soffits that we have in place. And of course, you know, you can see I've already started the fascia. I'm going to continue that around. This should be a pretty insect tight clubhouse. You know, not have to worry about. You may have to deal with some wasps, you know, underneath, you know, once in a while. But if you stay on top of it and everyone's out here, you know, kind of playing around on it, they're not gonna want to be around a lot of activity. This is the little trap door here. You can see, yeah, this is absolutely solid. So if whoever wants to take and, you know, install the, you know, a hinge maybe on this side and a little handle on this side and pull it up, have a rope ladder, works out really well. And then the last thing we've got is this slide. Now this slide, actually, I recycled it from the out of the box or big box playset that we had before. It was a good quality slide, and I said, hey, let's go ahead and recycle it. But we call this the rocket slide because on the previous clubhouse, it was more of a sloping angle, but because of the height of this this deck here, it's actually made it a much steeper slope. So obviously calling it a rocket slide, you can guess you're gonna go down it pretty quick. So let's take a ride. You can see that we've mulched in this area, and we did it right. We took and laid down 2 layers of cardboard, wetted it down, got it nice and soggy, and then we layered about 6 inches of mulch on top of that. And you would think, oh, mulch, man, that's got to be something you don't want to fall down on. I tell you, it's actually pretty soft. It's softer than falling on the grass. So that's going to be another perk, is that you shouldn't have to pull weeds in here. It should be very maintenance free. On top of the, you know, when you put the staining on top of that, all it really is maybe a few upgrades if you want to, but this is pretty much done. I've done all the work on it myself, and I've been very passionate about it. So, you know, anytime there were areas where I could have cut corners, I didn't, because you know, I was really proud of this. I wanted my kids to be safe on it, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So here it is, and I hope you enjoyed the tour, and we look forward to hearing from you if you got any questions.